Welcome back to Cybertopia. We've got another mini episode for you tonight, and this is a real fun one. No voice actors to celebrate in this one, but stick around at the end for a promo for our friends at Tales of Yavard. Last episode, we heard the gang failing terribly at helping Toby recover from his body suffering from an awful concoction of chemicals that built up in his system unregulated during his coma. Genuinely, when we recorded that episode, none of the players were sure if Toby was still alive. Well, now we find out.
Hey everyone, I am D, or Night Wanderer, and I will be playing Toby in a state of, let's not call it grace just yet.
So, Toby's dead.
Oh, poor guy.
Literally killer hangover.
Yeah.
The darkness descends, and I imagine Toby, as he closes his eyes and drifts off into a peaceful slumber. Would it be peaceful? What does it feel like as Toby goes into a stupor?
I don't think it would be peaceful in the sense of things calming down, but I also don't think it would be kind of turbulent. I think it would be one of those feverish fugue states where nothing is really happening, but things are amiss. Like when you have a high fever and you kind of are dreaming, but it's all very delirious dreams, and nothing's right. Nothing fits, but you can't put your finger on it, and it's very hard to get out of it because it's just everything's fuzzy. So it is a calm, but it is an unnerving, fevered calm that brings delirium with it.
So Toby, you see before you a door.
Yeah. And lacking everything else to see because everything else is kind of swathed in darkness, I am going to open the door and step through.
Okay, so as you step through, you suddenly realize there's no floor, and you're starting to fall.
Damn it. Yeah, I mean that instant lurch of no floor gives rise to a panic, and obviously I am going to start grabbing every which way to see if I can hold on to something.
Okay, let's have a roll.
Okay.
To see if you can grab onto anything.
Yeah, let's see how that works out.
Don't know if you've got anything that would help with a grabbing roll. No.
I don't. 4.
Okay, so I think as you're falling, you start seeing a chandelier, and it's swinging towards you, and you go to grab it, and it's just out of reach, and you go to grab it again, and it starts swinging away, and you're frantically grabbing towards it, and as you're grabbing, you're finding yourself kind of swimming through the air, and then it starts swinging back again. It's doing the pendulum, and it's gone full up the other way, and it's coming back towards you, and you realize, oh shit, it's coming at me really fast now, and it smashes into you. And you're now grabbing onto this thing, but you are not in control. Do you feel yourself starting to slip?
And that kind of feeling of swimming through the air, was it just a moment of weightlessness, or did it feel like I could continue to swim through the air if I tried?
I think, when you see people in films, I've never done this, so I don't know what it actually feels like. But when you see people in films and they're doing skydiving and they're trying to move towards something and they're swimming through the air, but they're still falling.
Yeah.
I imagine it feels like that.
Yeah, fair. Okay, well, I'm going. First of all, I'm going to try and see what there is beneath me. Is there anything? Is there a floor? Is there am I off a ravine? Am I in a hallway with the chandelier? And to that point, I'm also going to look up and see what the chandelier is hanging from. What is it pendulating above?
You tell me, what is the chandelier swinging from? What's above it? Ceiling? Clouds? Is it hanging from anything?
I think to keep with the fact that this is not just a normal dream, right? This is something that's a bit more, let's call it sinister, if at that. I think it is just on a chain that is swinging fixed to a point in a black fog. Just a darkness, kind of a darkness that is not solid, but that has that kind of fuzzy, cloud-like, velvety feeling to it.
I imagined below you a imperceptibly deep room
Mm-hmm.
just like 4 walls and a floor, and it's one of those white and black checkerboard kind of floors
Mm-hmm.
that just seems unreachably far below you.
Mm.
And it feels like it's raising up. And let's have another roll. Let's have a sight roll.
Okay. I do have a +1 analysis.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
That's a 5.
Okay. So yeah, you see these black and white checkerboard pattern just very slowly raising up towards you, and the chandelier, it doesn't feel like it's falling or lowering or anything, but it looks like that ground is coming up towards you. And as it comes up towards you, the squares are getting bigger, and a large black square comes up and surrounds the whole of you and the chandelier, and you're again enveloped in darkness. And then all of a sudden, you're in the sky above a bright green field. It's a lovely blue sky day, sun shining. There's a stream flowing down in between this field. There's some cows. Maybe there's a farmer with some haystacks or something. And you are again falling. The chandelier has disappeared, and you fall down and down and down. And then you land with a plop into the river.
Okay. I am immediately going to try and swim up towards the surface of it.
Okay, it's quite a shallow river, I think, so you're not going to have trouble with that. You kind of poke your head out the top, and you don't do that whole gasping thing that you'd think you'd probably do if you fell into a river. You're like, oh, it was fine. There was no trouble breathing or anything like that. It was just a shock of falling into a river. Do you climb out of the river?
I'm going to turn around and see, I guess, first off, how many shores I see, and then secondly, which is the nearest.
It's actually a really small river. It looks big when you're falling into it.
Okay.
You can touch both sides at the same time with your arms.
Oh, wow.
It's somehow deep enough that you're standing halfway into it. Like it's halfway up to your waist.
It's like more of a trench than...
Well, seemingly.
Yeah, I suppose I'm just going to pick the next best one. So since Toby's right-handed, I'm just going to go off to the right.
Sure. Okay. You pull yourself up onto the shore of this river, and you look back down into the river, and you can see there's fish kind of swimming through it, and it's probably only ankle deep from this point. And you look out across the fields, and you see all these cows just kind of plodding along, doing cow things, eating grass. And there is a farmer, like, with a pitchfork stabbing some hay bales or something. A cow turns towards you and goes, bah. What do you do now?
I think looking at the cow, I'm going to frown, and I'm going to ask it, don't you mean moo?
It turns its head around again, and then keeps turning, almost like an owl.
Oh,
and the head goes all the way around, and then comes
that's
back.
not a good look for a cow.
He goes, bah, and then it looks up, and it looks back at you, and then it sits down, and you see all the other cows in the field sit down.
Are they sitting in the same way?
They are all facing the exact same direction.
Oh, and which direction is that? Or rather, towards me or towards something else?
No, they're kind of diagonal, but they're all like parallel to each other.
I am going to look at what the cow looked up at first, see if I can find anything in the sky or whatever.
There is a single cloud in the sky.
Okay.
And it is a very grey, definite rain cloud. But it's just kind of hovering there in the sky. And it's quite small. Probably quite high up.
And then turn around towards the direction that they're all looking at?
They're looking at you.
Oh, they're looking at me. Bah?
All of the cows nod. And then you see the farmer in the back of the field kind of takes his pitchfork and kind of turns towards you and puts the end of the pitchfork in the ground, and then the spikes are pointing upwards, and just kind of faces you, takes his other hand out and does like a waving motion.
I am going to wave back to him.
He just continues waving.
I'm going to approach the cow.
Okay. The cow doesn't do anything or react.
I'm going to pet it.
On the head?
Yes.
Okay. The cow continues to not react, but it's got a very soft head. like a really soft, plump cushion,
Mm.
maybe a big marshmallow or something.
Resist the intrusive thought and turn around, and I'm going to try and see if there's anything else of note. If there's anything in the distance that I can see. And I suppose I'm also going to try and kind of figure out how many cows there are.
So as you turn around, you realize that you are now surrounded by cows.
Mm.
And not in a circle, but kind of in a spiral kind of shape.
Mm.
You look around and you see the cows now seem to be arranged in the shape of a maze.
Mm.
And you're at the center of it.
Mm.
And you can see the farmer again is waving at you, but it's almost like a beckoning wave now.
I am going to try and find my way towards the farmer. And
Okay.
I think I will be obeying the dream logic here of having to go through the maze instead of just trying to go over the cows.
Okay, let's have a maze navigation roll then.
Okay.
And I think you can add analysis into this because you're going to be like analyzing the way through.
Yeah. That's a 14.
Oh, yeah, you finally got above a 10. All right.
Yeah. The
Okay.
first one of this season, I think.
Yeah, possibly. Okay. Yeah, you start working your way through this maze and you take a few wrong turns. And when you do, the cow at the end where you get stuck turns to you and goes, moo. And then you turn around. And when you go in the right direction, they go, bah.
I see.
And then you get to the end and it goes, cluck, 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 cluck. But yeah, you eventually get out of this cow maze and it comes out to exactly where this farmer is. And you look at this farmer and you see it doesn't have a face. And actually it looks a bit more like a scarecrow. And as you look closer, you can see, its hands and its feet, like the hand it was waving is actually made of hay.
Mm.
And you look at the hay bale and you're like, oh, did it make itself from this hay bale? What's it doing?
Mm.
But you're out and you're at the farmer.
Where am I? I asked the farmer.
Farmer doesn't say anything, but beckons you closer again.
I take a step closer.
Okay. Can I have you roll a reaction roll, please?
Yeah, of course. That's a 19.
Okay. As you step forward, the farmer lowers the pitchfork into a
Aggressive.
thrusting sort of pose.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell that this pitchfork is going to come towards you very quickly, very soon.
I am going to try and duck out of the way.
Okay, let's have a duck roll as well then.
Whack. I was starting to miss it. That's a 4.
Excellent. Perfect timing. Okay, so you see this pitchfork come flying towards you and you try to jump out of the way, and as you jump, the whole scarecrow farmer seems to move in the same direction that you do. Like, doesn't jump or anything, just shifts with you.
Yeah.
And the relativity shoves this pitchfork into your chest, and you feel for a second, maybe this is more than just in the dream. Maybe in reality, you're feeling your body get a shock, and you start shaking, and then it stops. And this weird farmer cow world that you're in disappears. This time, not into the darkness that you were in before, but now it's in light. And the whole space is completely white. Apart from when you look above you, you see that dark cloud again. And it starts raining. You can feel the rain on your skin. Maybe you lift your arms out.
Can no one else feel it for me?
This is probably the most natural sensation you felt in years. Everything about your whole life has been so controlled and simulated within the experiments and the tests that you've been through.
Yeah.
With the few brief excursions you've had with tabula rasa, and in the last 6 hours or so that you've been out in the real world. What do you do when you feel this sensation?
It is definitely novel. It feels messy, but kind of in a good way. And I think I just stand there for a while and feel it. And just let myself feel it in this kind of state of unaltered, unaugmented, both reality, if one can call it that, and consciousness.
I think after a while, you start to feel the familiar sensation of the struts and rods and metallic bolts and stuff of your exoskeleton. And I think during the dream, you maybe didn't realize that you didn't have it on, but now it seems to be returning to you. And you can feel your internal chemistry regulator kind of inside you and partially outside you. And you can feel your body again. You didn't realize you weren't feeling anything during this dream. And now you're feeling your equipment. You're feeling your internal chemistry doing stuff. You can feel the blood pumping through your veins. You can feel your nerves activating. And a gradual but steady build up of general sensation throughout your body.
Does it feel as kind of clean and regulated as it used to? Or does it feel more kind of appropriate to the banged up state of the exoskeleton and everything? Does it feel also kind of messy, and is it painful? Do I feel it in a more jarring, irregular way than I used to when I would just come out of a cryo shell in pristine condition and go back into it to be returned to a pristine condition?
I think there's something a bit more kind of fresh and new feeling about this. Like a new coat of paint sort of feeling. And it's almost soft. It has that metallic kind of coldness to it, I guess. But also it feels like it's cuddling you. It's cradling you. And as you get that kind of calming feeling, you feel your body kind of slowly lowering backwards, or the rain is kind of tilting, you don't know, relativity, until it feels like you're laying down and the rain is just falling down onto you. And you feel yourself kind of sinking or maybe melting and just fading into the invisible floor of this dream. And then you open your eyes and you're back in Cookie's flat.
A small ship rides the salt-laden wind across the sea.
The sound of waves striking the side of the vessel echo from below.
This ship, though small, carries with it the potential to change the world as we know it.
If the crew can overcome their demons, that is.
Tales of Yavard is an actual play podcast using the brand new Mythcraft system developed by Quasi-Real Publishing.
The first campaign, The Sea's Tale, follows our heroes struggling against pirates, mercenaries, and crime families as they seek to discover the truth of a terrible attack.
The secrets they may uncover on this journey will bring them closer to that truth, but the cost may be greater than any of them know.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts and find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, and TikTok under Tales of Yavard Pod.